Our next author, Patricia Gray, holds a Master's of Fine Arts degree in poetry from the University of Virginia. Since 1993, she has coordinated the Poetry at Noon program at the Library of Congress. Her first book, Rupture, was published in 1995, and her poem, A Calf Born in Snow, was featured by Garrison Keillor on the Writer's Almanac. Miss Gray speaks of the heat and heft of the poem. A fully realized poem, she says, must have a high temperature as well as verbal density. Rupture embraces with gentle tenacity the power of transformative moments that cross boundaries and deepen understanding. It was also chosen by the Montserrat Review as one of the best books of poetry for 2005.
I think this is a wonderful series, Books and Ideas. I run a reading series at the Library of Congress, and it's wonderful to have both authors talking about their work and also dealing with ideas. So I'm very happy to be here, and happy to see the students who were in the class this afternoon, the master class. So I will begin tonight with a poem called Blessing. I grew up in Virginia, not far from Charlottesville, Virginia. And if you have a book, it's on page 61. Blessing. This is for a great-great-grandfather. It's a family story. So that's how I happened to write this poem. Here goes. In from the field at noon, grandfather was obliged to put on a suit coat to come to grandmother's table. He'd sweat rivulets, receiving the green beans and corn, iced tea, thy bounty, Lord. When he stood up, coat soiled, she'd turn away, a marrow of demand in those perfect cheekbones. Then, back with the applesauce cake, she'd pause by his chair, a hint of spice about her. Which must be why he put on that suit coat. Okay, so I'm going to read one that's a little bit naughty. It's, if you, sex and death. Okay, this one, you know, if you go home with your boyfriend or husband and you sleep in the room that was your room when you were living at home, you feel sort of strange. So, Rich with Desire. It's on page 20. We wake in the room I grew up in, birds chirping summer outside, the child of our bodies thrumming his delight, kicking small feet, waving flexed arms like wings. In the crib that was mine, just as his bed was mine, and still holds the shape of my girlish body before the fevered intrusions of love. Hold me then, husband, in this protected place, rich with lust, as we turn and turn in the covers, trespassing through time. And this one on page 49 is the one that, when this book came out in 2005, Garrison Keillor chose this poem to read. And on the Writer's Almanac, I don't know if you guys get up early enough, but it comes on at, yeah, it comes on at 6:30 on WAMU. And I do listen to it. Because it starts my day off with a poem. And also you can hear things that you might not pick up if you just read the poem on the page. And as a writer, I'm interested in and getting those things, hearing those things. Calf born in snow. I can still hear the loud moan in my grandfather's kitchen, where the wood stove was open for the failing fire's warmth, and on the oven door, wrapped in an old quilt, lay the new Charolais calf, a twin that survived its snowy birth that morning, though its brother died. Both of them the color of muddy snow, and this one too weak to stand. We tried to feed him his mother's milk, but he seemed to forget he was eating and slept, so that by 10 that night, when he raised his head suddenly, making a loud meh sound, I could scarcely believe it. He's getting better. Dad put his hand on my shoulder. Quiet, he's dying, was all he said. Old knowledge, deep as the Blue Mountains. Still, I'd witnessed that final, wonderful rallying, as if every ounce of life pulled together to raise the calf's head, to leave his sound so indelibly there. I have since found out that there is a rallying urge that even doctors in hospitals sometimes see, where a patient will get as maybe halfway up or something, or sit up even, right before the end. So it was interesting to be there for that. Obviously, it stuck with me. I'm going to read a poem that, I don't know, I like it, but you may not. And this is because it just has to do with my uncles. And it's really, it's on page 50. It's really written about my uncle as if he were dead, and I returned to his house where nothing has changed yet. Secrets at my uncle's house. I learned from you the elegance of proof, complex math, and my own inadequacies. That imagination steals energy from the real world, and even memory so tidy and selective can be brutal in its sameness, from which the density of touch is vanished, from which completion is barred, as it is for the buck always leaping at the fence or the puzzle being worked on your table. I have come here, Uncle, for my sanity, that it might stabilize like an object in your room, like the fox skull you found in a field and baked till the spiders ran out. If there is any wisdom, it is in collections such as these, in the clutter of your nests and shells, in the gargoyle or geode that waits to be taken up, turned in the hand as if some lesson were in it, a clue to the unfocused excitement it evokes. Or wisdom might lie in movement, in the shape of your arm. How's it go? As you lean over the conch shell puzzle, searching for the shape you must have, while I rest my cheek on the smooth leather chair that sits on the worn rug slightly off square, and gaze at the objects everywhere